Good morning and welcome to Peace Out, where we are all learning together to peace out, right? And I've had, my electricity went off. It's only been on a few minutes, and I was like, I'm like, okay, well now what am I going to do? It just like went off. Well, it went off and then it flickered, then it went off, and I was like, I can't. What am I going to do? I thought I could start a fire for heat. I got packaged food for Chris that I keep for emergencies and traveling. So I was like working through all these little things. How am I going to do this morning? And I was like, I don't even know if I was going to be able to go live because I was trying to get I thought Cox had a hotspot here at the apartment, but it wouldn't let me on. So I was like, I don't know. So I was back and forth, and I was like, you know what? There are a lot of reasons to stress out. I got a long list. Y'all don't even know. I got a long list, but you've got a long list too. There are always going to be reasons to stress out, but there's also a lot of reasons to just trust God. Depends on what you're looking for, right? So I was thinking about the story we talked about yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It's been a long 24 hours. But I was thinking about Paul and Silas in the prison, and I thought they could have been so stressed out. I mean, they had open wounds. They were bleeding. They were in pain physically. They didn't know what the future held. They didn't know if they were going to try to kill them, if they were going to try to keep them in prison for basically unfounded accusations. Mostly about their money and the idol worship that they were, involved in that city, that region, Macedonia area. They had an uncertain future. They didn't know what the rest of the night even looked like. But it said about midnight. Now, midnight is significant. And I know we talked about this yesterday, but I want to talk about it again today. So just bear with me, okay? Midnight is pretty much as dark as it's going to get, right? It's the start of a new day. It's the end of this day and the start of a new day. It's a significant point in the day. Everything switches. At midnight, everything switches. At midnight last night, it was February, hold on, 5th. I can't see the numbers there, but 5th. And then at midnight, it switched to 6th, right? It's a brand new, spanking new day. And it was at that point where they started praising God, the darkest part. And they were look, there was no electricity in that prison, just like there was no electricity in my house this morning, right? My apartment this morning. I even went out and walked around to say, is everybody without, or did I forget to pay my bill? What's going on, right? And, and I have windows. Their prison cell didn't have windows. There was no electricity. It was dark. It was super dark at midnight. Their feet were chained, their hands were chained, yet they began to praise God and sing praises to God. Why? Because in that prison cell, God was still the exact same God he was before they came there, before midnight, after midnight. God, nothing about God changes at midnight. So I was thinking about how God has this history of walking into dark places, because God came and shook that shell, shook that prison cell, shook the whole prison, and everybody was free at that point. The doors became unlocked, chains fell off, and they could have walked out, but they didn't. They stayed there to glorify God. And of course, the jailer got saved. His whole family got saved. They got baptized, all of that. And it was a wonderful redemption story that would have never happened had they not had the misfortune of the false accusations and them being beaten and put into prison. But they decided to sing at midnight. And I thought, you know what? There's several midnight type stories in the Bible where God just walked in, right? My mind goes to Jonah, and he was in the belly of the whale. There wasn't no electricity there neither, I'll let you know. And there was nothing to build a fire with either. He was stuck, right? And it had to be dark. It had to be scary. But God met him in the belly of the whale. I love that, because I think I love that story so much, because these two stories are very contrasting in their setting, right? We've got Paul and Silas, who were preaching the gospel, doing what God sent them to do, and made people mad because they set people free from what had them bound, and it cost them money. Boy, that sounds like today. Some things in the world never change, right? And they're in prison, and they began to sing praises to God, and God met them there. That's an amazing story. But then we have Jonah, and he's on the whole other end of the spectrum. He was in the belly of the whale because he ran from what God told him to do. And he literally said, You want me to go that way? I'm not. I'm going that way. He actually ran the opposite direction on purpose, deliberately disobeying what God gave him to do. And he ended up in the belly of the well. Two very different scenarios. And yet, when Jonah lifted his voice to God and cried out for mercy in the belly of the well, God met him there too. Now I don't bet, right? But if I was a betting person, I would wager that you're in neither of those circumstances. I'm not. I got some weird stuff going on, but I'm not in jail for preaching the gospel and setting people free. And I'm not in the belly of the well because I ran from God. I'm not running from God, right? I'm not in either of those vastly different scenarios. But I have to say that if God can meet Paul and Silas in that jail as they sang praises to God, and Jonah in the well, hey, sail and well rhyme. I bet I could write a poem. Anyway, if God can meet Paul and Silas in the jail cell as they sang praises to God, and he could meet Jonah in the belly of the well as he was denying what God told him to do and being deliberately disobedient, if he can meet these two people, these three people technically, in these two very different scenarios that they walked into, put it that way, that life brought their way, I would just lay money, if I was a betting person, that he can meet us, he can meet you in any place you are in between that very crazy broad spectrum, right? Because nothing at midnight, even though everything kind of changes, the date changes, yesterday's gone, there'll never be another February 5th, 2025. Now we've got February 6th, 2025, and we've only got a few hours, 16 hours or so left of this day, and then it'll be a new day. This day will never be again, but God will be in this day for us, just like he was in those days for his people, in those midnight hours, in those belly of the well turmoil situations. Whether you're in the lion's den, I thought of Joseph in his cell when he was falsely accused. I've just meditated since yesterday on a lot of the different places that God met people in their heartache. He met them when they were stressed out. He met them in their distress. He met them in their sickness. He didn't cast anybody away and go, I don't do that, whatever your that is. No, instead, so even though there's a lot of reasons we could get stressed out, and I like I said, I've got a list. You've probably got a list too, probably as long or longer than mine. We've got lists of reasons we could get stressed out. But let me tell you this, there's also a lot of reasons to just trust God and not stress out, right? And so it's about all day long. It's about seeing the things, dealing with things, but always bringing it back to God in prayer, with thanksgiving for all he's done, because you know he's going to meet you in that moment. As dark as it may seem, as crazy as it may seem, as disjointed as it may seem, as bizarre as it may seem, God will still meet you in that moment, and he will still have his peace, right? He didn't take his peace back when they went when Peter and Paul were Paul and Silas were in the prison. He didn't take his peace back when Jonah was in the well. He met them there with all that he is, and he meets us in today with all that he is. He doesn't say, okay, well, here's your checklist. Choose 3. Choose your top 3. What do you want today? Peace? You want grace? You want mercy? You want forgiveness? You want to be righteous before me? Do you want, I don't know. I'm trying to figure something out to put on the list, but he doesn't give you a list and go, choose your top 3. That's all you're going to get. No, we get all of what God is, all the grace, all the mercy, all the love, all the patience. And he's needed that for me a lot lately. All the peace. We get it all because God is not a compartmentalized God that says, well, this day you get this day you get that. It's like, no, every morning, every midnight, his mercies are brand spanking new. I love that because I need them. I need them today. Like I've never needed them in a long time. I need his mercies. I need his grace. I need that peace. And so I have to come to that place and say, yep, I got a long list of reasons I could stress out, but I've also got a long list of reasons and a lot of examples right here that I could peace out. Which am I going to choose? I'm going to choose peacing out today. And that's not that easy. It's not like, okay, I'm going to choose to peace out and I'm just going to choose to trust God. Cool. No, then because all these things still come all day long, right? Then I'm doing fine, and then I did get a new job, and then I've got this, I've got that, and it comes at me, and it's easy to get distracted by that. And I know there's some things we have to work out logistically. There's things we have to work through mentally. We have to figure things out. But and it can lead to just more stress sometimes, right? Even the good stuff can lead to more stress. But we always have to. It's about just all day long going, God, give me your wisdom. God, give me your strength. Lord, give me your direction. Let me know how to handle this. Let me know how to handle that. Let me know teach me how to walk in your peace. Teach me how to be a peacemaker and a peacekeeper. Two different things. Teach me your ways, oh Lord. Isn't that what the psalmist said? Lead me in the path I should follow. That's what it's about. Always coming back to and following his lead. Why? Because he's got us. He's already gave us his peace. We can walk in it all day long, every day, no matter what. Got a long list of reasons why, a long list of examples of lives he's changed, lives he's walked in, and he'll walk in ours today too. Let's just follow him today and peace out. Have a great day. See you again tomorrow.